What's up, guys? Black is Night here, and I'm coming at you guys with my Shaddoll Invoked deck profile for the February 2020 format. So, I just want to talk about a few things before I get into the deck profile. This deck, you can play like so many different engines and so many different cards. There's no like right or wrong, just sort of whatever your play style is. You can encompass the Mech Knight engine, or you could play dinos. There's a lot of different things you can do. But the Invoked list has given me the most success in terms of how I like to play. I tried the Mech Knights out, but I didn't like how go second focused it was. Like, I know you can still go first, but I feel like with Mech Knights you just naturally just want to go second because Blue Sky is amazing, and Purple Nightfall will basically just search nothing really if you went first. So that's kind of how it was. So here's the deck. Let's get right into it. We play for the new Shaddoll, we play triple Wendy and one Ariel. I go back and forth on this card a lot. And we're also still in testing, but this is what I've found the most satisfaction with. I go back between 2 and 3 of this card a lot because sometimes you just want to send it, sometimes you want to see it in your hand. So I feel like just playing 3 is the most middle ground we'll ever get. We'll also play more than 40 cards, so hopefully we won't draw it more than one copy. That was like a huge issue when I first started playing the deck. Onto the classic Shaddolls, we played 2 Squamata. This card I wanted to play 3 of, and I probably still could. Like I said, we're still testing. But this is like the best one you want to draw all the time. It's just this is a Fool's Burial, which is amazing. Sends any of your spells and traps to grave if you need them. And it can trigger any Shaddoll effect. So this one's the best one in my opinion. Next, we do play a double Hedgehog as well. Being able to send us to grave and end with a Shaddoll in hand for like an El Shaddoll fusion play during the opponent's turn is pretty nuts. That's why I kind of like this card, because like a lot of times if you just end on the window, they can just prepare for it. Or I like to just set the El Shaddoll fusion and wait for them to commit a card to the field. Preferably something that would special summon, like Luna Light Tiger or Perfume or something like that, or like a Soul's Effect in hand. So that way they commit a card to the field, and if they're special summon, if you chain the El Shaddoll fusion, the window will come out, and that will be their special summon for the turn, and it sort of just locks them out for the rest of the turn. So, and if they have a card on the field, they can't just imperm you. So that's why I would rather wait for them to commit a card to the field as opposed to just ending on the window, personally. And then also you can trigger some effects that you use in your first turn. You can trigger the same card during your opponent's turn if you have that opportunity. So that's kind of what I'm figuring with the Hedgehog. Double Beast as well. It's pretty self-explanatory. Some of the cool things you can do with Wendy is to summon this card face down and it just becomes a Pot of Greed, or at the very least you can send it to grave and just upstart Goblin. So really good card. And then the Wind Dragon to round out our classic Shaddolls. We play the triple, Alistair the Invoker. I know this engine is really expensive, so I apologize for those of you who didn't have this engine beforehand. There's a lot more newer Shaddoll players than I anticipated. I felt like this deck was sort of already established. The people who wanted to play this deck would have already had these, but a lot of newer players are flocking to the deck, so I guess it makes the market more insane. This market is also really insane in general. But the triple Alistair, because you just want to search your polymerization. It doesn't really search poly, but invocation is like polymerization. So, and then you can just use any of your fusion spells in hand to make your plays go through. And then on lights we played 2 Damage Juggler and the 1 Trick Clown. I I didn't just want to play the one trick clown because I felt like you sometimes just want to draw a light. But I did consider playing 3 trick clown and no damage juggler. But damage juggler comes sometimes, has a cool effect. And if you don't open Alistair, you can still open like the normal combo with any like Windy plus or Windy or Squamata plus damage juggler and a Shaddoll fusion. This can sort of get you there too. So that's it for the monsters. Onto the spell, we're playing triple magical meltdown. Basically, you just want to search. Your Alistair the Invoker. Pretty much that was right. But the thing that makes this card insane and like Shaddoll's as opposed to just Invoked is like Invoked doesn't really have any effects that really want to activate on the summon window, but like Shaddoll's, oh my god, there's so many effects that activate and trigger on summon. So when you have this on the field and you activate a Shaddoll fusion, Shaddoll fusion, or invocation, or basically any fusion spell, even instant fusion, your opponent can't negate the activation, which is crazy good. Stops like back row deck like Solemns and stuff. And then on the summon window, when you summon the monster, a lot of effects can activate. Like all your Shaddoll effects, your Trick Clown, Cross Sheep can all activate, and they all activate forming a chain link that the opponent can't respond to because of this card. This card says your opponent can't activate cards or effects when a fusion monster is summoned. So like you can get all those effects off, and any chain link you want, it doesn't matter. Your opponent can't negate. Can't activate any cards, so that's really insane. This does not protect. Another thing is this does not protect Shaddoll Fusion from Ash Blossom and Joy Spring because Ash Blossom doesn't negate activations. So what can you do? Ash Blossom is still a pretty big hand trap against this deck. We play triple Shaddoll Fusion. This card is your bread and butter. Like it's so weird wanting to go first with this deck, with this card being in your deck, but if you go second or if you make it to turn 3 or whatever, or you have this card and your opponent has an extra deck monster, you can just gain so much advantage off this card. It's not even funny. But yeah, this card's insane. But really, in this version, you just want to just draw a fusion spell, so it doesn't really matter if your opponent has an extra deck monster or not. So play triple Shaddoll Fusion for the same reason you want to draw a fusion spell, but this card is nuts because it's a quick play and you can do so many like battle tricks with this card and OTK. You can do, like I said, you can summon window during your opponent's turn. So you draw this or search this or send it off of construct and link her away or whatever. You can just set this to the field. You can add this to your hand and set it, and then your opponent's turn you can just flip it and just turn up your opponent's basically the turn. In that regard, it sort of functions like a mash change, and sort of instead of summoning Dark Claw, you summon Window. That's pretty cool. We're testing 2 Invocation right now. Why is it 2 Invocation right now? And we were playing 3, but I just drew way too many fusion spells. Like that is a problem. Like you want to see a fusion spell, but at the same time, you don't want to draw like 2 or 3 of them to where you can't even play your hand because you just have too many fusion spells. So, and this one is searchable, so I'd forget that we'll cut this one in 2 and I'm testing it out. But that's it for the main fusion spells. We are playing double Super Poly. I wasn't originally playing this, but I figured most people, like a lot of players, are gonna want to play Shaddolls, especially in my local scene. It's just a nice a change of pace, sort of. Like everyone's waiting to play that deck because it's new and it's fun and well, not really new, but fan favorite fun deck, and it's really good and popular. So I feel like my local will be in flux with Shaddoll players, and this card is the best card to use in the mirror match. D barrier is cool, but D barrier negates your fusion effects as well, and it's permanent, I believe. That kind of blows. Non-fusion area also isn't good. Mist polymerization is kind of cool. I wouldn't main deck that, so Super Poly is the best thing I can play in the main deck to help with the mirror match. The mirror match gets crazy as hell, but this card makes it even more insane. And then we play triple Pot of Desires. Like I said, you just want your deck to be as consistent as possible. And I didn't want to play Allure because I feel like Allure gets you nowhere. Like, you draw 2 cards and then banish a dark, and if it's the only dark in your hand, you just can't play. Like, this card nets you inherent advantage and doesn't require you to lose any cards in your hand. So triple Desires I feel like is the best way to go. And I'm playing, I think my deck is 43 cards, so like, you can just not play this if you don't want to, but I feel like just having some amount of draw power in the deck is the way to go. We're testing out this card as well, Pot of Avarice. I feel like this deck doesn't grind as well as it should, because like the extra deck is only 15 cards, and you really want to play so much more, like as far as like fusion and stuff, but you can only play so many because you have to play links as well still. So being able to sort of like recycle your, like the theory is being able to recycle your fusions and your like Shaddoll monsters and stuff and draw 2 is like insane. Like, you really only need like a couple of fusions, and most of the time you just want to recycle a lot of your monsters that are in the grave, and you can use their effects and stuff if you have a Shaddoll fusion. But we're still testing it out. I never actually drew it yet, so we're gonna keep playing and see how I like it. Rest of the spells are just like standard things. Call by the Grave to stop Ash Blossom. I don't really like Gamma that much. I feel like it is, if you open it and your opponent doesn't have Ash Blossom, is basically dead because you're gonna get a body on the field. But if you go second, you know, you can negate monster effects and stuff, and you can use it still negate Ash Blossom, but I feel like it's just not as good. But like I said, we're still testing, and I might come back to it. But as of now, I'm not playing again, as you saw. We're playing double Cosmic Cyclone. I put this in because, like, in the vacuum of this deck, you can play this deck as however, but like, and there will be actual disruptions and things like Rivalry exist, even like Goes and Match or things like that, like Floodgate like cards, Anti-Spell Fragrance, Imperial Order, things you can like chain this to. You just want to get them off the field, like Mystic Mine. I was thinking about playing Typhoon instead of this, but I just have to see how it'll work out when it comes to decks that just side end the card. If they just side end like an anti-spell, I only set 1, then Typhoon doesn't really do anything. Whereas I can chain this still. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it right now. So that's it for the spells. Well, technically that's it for the spells, but we're playing Triple Impermanence. But I'm actually going to change this to Forbidden Chalice. I feel like Chalice has the most value because, you know, a lot of players are going to want to set the El Shaddoll fusion and flip it and stuff to stun your plays, and if they use it when you commit a card to the field, you can't use this. And Chalice you can use because you don't require, it's not required you to have no cards in the field. Otherwise, like, this card functions the same as like Chalice would in theory, that you would just want to use it to stop Floodgate like monsters like Vanity's Fiend or Dark Law. Those are like or Plasma rather. Those are the big ones. Winda, Caliga as well, Apollosa, things like that. So I feel like Chalice would function the same as this, like in that regard. Like I wouldn't really use it as a, you know, you can use it as a hand trap, of course, but you would want to use it for those floodgatey monsters. And that's kind of why I wanted to play it, but I'm probably going to switch to Chalice and test it. And then we play the one Rush Shaddoll Incarnation to run our main deck at 43. This deck actually has been performing pretty well. This is why I actually ended up doing the deck profile, because I was still testing and I wasn't really liking some of the things I was doing. So I decided to stop looking at what everyone was doing and just sort of do my own thing and mess around with ratios and actual play testing and seeing what I can come up with. Onto the extra deck, which is like super tight, but it's pretty much the most standard thing in the whole deck. Double Construct, because it's all we can fit. double window. You feel like you wouldn't play 3 anyway. You could probably cut this down to 2 if you're really like conservative with your resources, but right now, I think 2 is a good number. And the 1 Apollo for our Shaddoll fusions. This card's actually pretty good. I thought about playing 2, but we can't fit it in. So on to the Invokes. We're playing 1 Mechaba, the Purgatrio, of course, the Caliga, and for some reason no one's playing this card, but I really think this card's insane. A Raijin. This thing is pretty cool. It, synergizes with your Shaddoll monsters. You can like flip them up, flip them back down. You can flip down Alistair, trigger its effect again. It's also a disruption to your opponent's turn. The Windy's a win, so I feel like why wouldn't you play this card? It also synergizes with Aerial, so like if you banish Windy, you can bring it back with Aerial. It's like a sort of way to get more Shaddolls on the field. I think this card's really good. Purgatrio is obvious. Caliga is really good because it's one of our in-field pieces. This and you end up with this and Winda, and it's pretty much a very grindy game for the opponent who isn't prepared for it. And then of course Mechaba is in a gate. So, and then we play the 1-star Fusion Dragon. Since we made the Super Poly, figure this would be good against Shaddolls and then Rockets and even other decks like Lunar Lights and Heroes and stuff. So this is the most generic one to go into. Onto the links. We're playing 1 Cross Sheep, 1 Alistair, 1 Almirage, 1 Apollousa, and 1 Boral Sword. The 2 I'm the most debated, like changing up, are these 2, the Alistair and the Boral Sword. Alistair's good, but I think I'd rather play a generic Link 2, but I don't know. Being able to trigger your Shaddoll effects in hand is actually pretty good. Sometimes I want to play a generic Link 2 more so than him because like Construct is light, so is your Trick Clown, and you can end on like a window, but Trick Clown is also a spellcaster, so you can't do that. So as a Pot Clone, you can do like one of your Invoked monsters, so go into this, so it's slightly harder to play around sometimes, but he's still really good. We're still really good. His effect's really good. Sometimes you just want a generic Link 2 that points down, so I might switch him out after testing more. And Boral Sword is still really good. OTK enabler, and I feel like you just have to play it sometimes to close games out, but just being able to play into another Link, like after you go into Cross Sheep, like where do you really go? Like, you can go to Apollousa, but if you don't have like the materials to sort of make it worth summoning this, then it's kind of lackluster, especially if it's the only card on your field. It's not really that good. So I was thinking something like, crazy enough, I was thinking of something like Decode Talker, because like you can go to Cross Sheep plus whatever effect monster you have on the field to go into Decode, and it's somewhat a respectable monster. It's 23, but whatever he points to makes him 500 points stronger, and he can negate things that target, which is kind of neat. And it triggers effects of your Shaddoll fusions. I'll have to read Decode Talker and see if triggering is a cost. I'm not entirely sure, but I know it triggers the fusions because they go to grave. But that's what I was looking at for the links. And I guess I can go through the side deck pretty briefly. This is just things that I encounter in my locals right now. But Lava Golem, mostly for heroes and other unbreakable board decks. Droll and Lockbirds, if I can find them. Droll for just searching decks. Good against heroes, good against Cyber Dragons, Spiral, of course. And that's it for the monsters we're playing. Triple Lightning Storm for back row decks. Back row decks are really annoying, like Altergeist and Guru, so Lightning Storm is really good. Triple Evenly Matched for other combo decks and back row decks and whatnot. And then I think this card's insane. There can be only one. I think this card is nuts. Your deck isn't affected by this card at all. Like all your fusion and extra deck monsters are different. Like you have a couple of spellcasters, but Mechaba's a machine. Caliga's a beast. Purgatrio is a fiend. Raijin's a warrior, and Construct's a fairy. So not really many things that hurts you. This is really good against like heroes and Cyber Dragons and even Altergeist a little bit. just being able to slow them down. So the cards are pretty good. That's it for the deck, guys. I hope you guys liked it. Sorry it was a little longer than I wanted, than I initially wanted it to be, but just explaining some of the cards and some of the reasons why I play them. Because like I said, this deck is very like diverse. You can play a lot of different things. So I just wanted to talk about some of my choices and stuff. But if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing to more to the channel for more Yu-Gi-Oh videos. If you enjoyed the content. But this has been Black as Night, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.